Now, transport company Super Group has reported a 62% jump in annual diluted headline earnings per share to 174.1 cents, boosted by its supply chain business. Revenue gained 30% to 10.2 billion rand. No dividend was declared as the company continues with its share buyback program. For more, we're joined on the line by company CEO Peter Mountford. Peter, you must be smiling ear to ear. This is a great recovery story from where the company was a few years ago. Just perhaps give us top line. What came right in this set of results?
I think probably the most exciting element in the set of results is the real growth in revenues. Revenues grew by 30%, as you indicated, to 10.2 billion. And we had good revenue growth across the supply chain businesses, the fleet lease businesses in Australia, New Zealand and the United Kingdom, as well as our dealership business, which reported a 20% growth in new vehicle sales. Thereafter, of course, decent profit growth and strongly underpinned by cash generation. So that for us was the highlight of the year.
We're certainly hoping that the next time you'll be with us in studio and we can quiz you a little more on some of these numbers. But all around, those numbers certainly look good. And I'm reading here, and I like this word here, it's a record performance by the group since its listing. The question though, and for most investors I suppose, is this sustainable? Can we expect this sort of a strong, robust growth in margins, in revenue, in earnings going forward?
Obviously, the group has been through a period really of recovery. So the increases in earnings and revenues have been substantial over the past few years. We're obviously very cognizant of the challenge ready next year to replace the lost revenues from the Fleet Africa contracts in the Eastern Cape and City of Johannesburg, but certainly confident that that is achievable and that we will perform next year.
Peter, can I just ask you about your transport into Africa?
Yes.
From what I understand, it's a rapid growing part of your business. It's been a successful part of your business. But I also understand that most of that business has been transporting goods from Africa into South Africa.
Yes.
And that historically you've had this difficulty in sending trucks back into the region empty.
Yes.
Are you able to deal with that? In other words, are you able to fill up those trucks when you send them back into the region? Has that improved a lot?
Yes, that has improved a lot over the last year. As you know, about 18 months ago, we embarked on a program of renewing that fleet that had got to an average age of about 14 years on the truck side. And we renewed that over the last 18 months. And most hearteningly is the Northbound volumes, which is largely bulk foods, building materials, mining equipment and the like, have increased quite markedly in the last year, and we're up to about 88% capacity on the Northbound route and are running at 100% capacity on the southbound routes with mining materials.
Peter, where are these goods going? I mean, you're talking about, I see you in your commentary you speak about the Northbound activity, and you say it's been very, very good indeed. Where is it going, and what does it consist of?
Okay. Our operations are largely based in Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, and the Congo. So the Northbound volumes are largely going into those economies, I suppose primarily Zimbabwe and Zambia. And as I indicated, it's largely bulk foods, basic food stuff, building materials, and mining equipment and the like.
Peter, your cash position improving dramatically.
Yes.
470 odd million now you have in net cash. Will you start to resume dividends shortly?
I think this year and certainly into the forthcoming year, we believe that share buybacks were probably most value enhancing to our shareholders. And I think most of our top shareholders were in agreement with that decision. So we would probably continue with a share buyback process into the next financial year. But certainly the board is cognizant of the position, and we would consider that policy on an annualized basis.
Peter, can I just ask you about the government contracts? You mentioned that obviously some time ago the contract, I think, in the Eastern Cape lapsed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it something that you're going to pursue in the future? In other words, is it good business for you to look at additional government contracts, or have you found them to be problematic?
No, it is goodness. It is good business for us, and we'd continue to look for government business both in South Africa and Australia. you know, it certainly has had its challenges historically, but it would not put us off that sector at all. We would like to be significant players in that process. In Australia in particular, we found that market a very manageable market and a very consistent market. So again, government business is a big part of our agenda in those operations as well.